All right, so January 27th, 2025.
Yeah,
Crazy day in the markets.
absolutely insane.
Uh, the NASDAQ dropped 3.1%.
Wow.
It was a
Yeah.
pretty big drop. And then NVIDIA,
Yeah.
they lost $600 billion
$600 billion.
mid-market value in a single day.
That's more than the GDP of most countries.
It's just incredible.
It is more than most countries' entire GDPs.
Yeah, in a single day.
And it was
At the heart of this was this company, Deepseek.
Deepseek, a Chinese AI startup.
It does have a kind of ominous ring to it, doesn't it?
It does a little bit, yeah.
But before we jump to conclusions,
Sure.
we've got a whole stack of sources here, market analyses, tech breakdowns.
Yeah.
We even have someone claiming to have cracked Deepseek's code.
Really?
So we're going to try to sift through all of this and figure out what Deepseek is really all about.
Sounds like a plan.
Is it just hype, or are they a game changer?
I think it's safe to say it's not just hype. Deepseek represents a potential turning point in how we approach AI, and it all starts with their vision.
Okay, their vision.
Which is a stark contrast to the bigger is better mindset we often see in Western AI companies.
So you're saying they're not just going for brute computational force.
Not necessarily, no.
They're trying to do something different.
Yeah, their founder, Liang Wenfeng,
Right.
he's really championing this idea of efficiency and accessibility.
Efficiency and accessibility.
Not just raw power. So he's basically saying you don't need billions of dollars and massive data centers to achieve high performance AI.
Which is a pretty bold statement.
It's a bold statement.
Considering how much money a lot of these companies are spending.
Yeah, absolutely.
So instead of these gigantic AI models that only a handful of tech giants can afford to build and run, Deepseek is offering a more streamlined,
a more
accessible approach.
Accessible approach. That's exactly right.
That's fascinating.
It's a significant departure from the status quo.
So what's the secret sauce behind all of this?
The secret sauce.
How are they achieving these results without...
That's the million-dollar question.
Without the typical massive infrastructure.
Well, their key innovation is something called the mixture of experts approach.
Mr. Expert.
Or MOE for short.
MOE?
Yeah. It's a fundamentally different way of designing AI models.
So is it like having a team of specialists instead of one generalist AI?
That's a great analogy. Instead of trying to build one giant model that can do everything.
Yeah.
Deepseek breaks down complex tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Okay.
Each expert in the model specializes in a particular skill or task and is activated only when needed.
So it's kind of like having a brain surgeon on call, but they only wake up when you need brain surgery.
Exactly. That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
And this modular approach is what gives Deepseek's models their incredible efficiency. By activating only the necessary experts for a given task.
Right.
They can drastically reduce energy consumption and computational overhead.
So less energy consumption means they can run on less powerful hardware.
Exactly.
Which would explain why NVIDIA's stock took such a big hit.
That's a very astute observation.
Because NVIDIA is
the dominant supplier of these high-powered GPUs that are essential for training and running most large AI models.
Right.
So if Deepseek's models don't require those top-of-the-line chips, well, that poses a serious threat to NVIDIA's business model.
Yeah, so investors are basically looking at Deepseek and thinking, oh, if these guys don't need our expensive hardware, what happens to our profits?
What happens to us?
And then on top of that, they decided to open source their R1 model.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Can you explain what that means for those who aren't familiar with open source?
Sure. Open sourcing essentially means making the underlying code of their AI model publicly available.
So anyone can access it?
Yeah, anyone can access it, study it, modify it, even use it to build their own applications.
So it's like giving away the recipe for your secret sauce.
Yeah, it is. It's a bold move.
That seems like a pretty risky move.
It's a bold move and one that has sparked a lot of debate.
Especially in the cutthroat world of AI development.
Right.
So why would Deepseek choose to go this route?
Well, they argue that open sourcing their technology will lead to faster development and greater innovation with more eyes on the code.
Right.
Bugs can be identified and fixed quicker, and improvements can be made collaboratively.
So it's like a massive crowdsourcing effort for AI development.
Exactly.
It almost sounds too good to be true.
There are definitely potential downsides to consider.
Right.
And we'll get into those later.
Okay.
But for now, let's focus on the potential benefits.
Okay.
One of the most compelling arguments for open sourcing AI is that it can democratize access to this powerful technology.
So what do you mean by democratize?
It means anyone could potentially build their own AI applications using Deepseek's model.
Wow.
Imagine a world where you don't need to be a Google or a Microsoft to harness the power of AI. With Deepseek's open source model, smaller companies, startups, even individual developers could potentially create innovative applications that were previously beyond their reach.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
So it's like giving anyone with an internet connection the tools to build their own personalized AI assistant tailored to their specific needs and values.
That's the kind of future Deepseek is envisioning.
It's a powerful vision and one that has captured the imagination of many.
It has.
But there are also some valid concerns,
of course,
about this open source approach, especially considering that Deepseek is a Chinese company.
Right.
We'll delve into those concerns in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the market impact, their approach to AI, the open sourcing thing.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
But I kind of want to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about what this all means for the average person.
That's a good point.
Because, most of us aren't tech investors or, AI engineers.
So
why should we care?
Why should we care about Deepseek?
Right.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the technical details.
Yeah, the financial drama, all that.
Yeah. But what are the potential real-world implications of all of this?
Well, think about it this way. AI is already starting to permeate almost every aspect of our lives.
It really is.
From the recommendations we see online to the healthcare we receive.
It's like it's this invisible force that's just shaping our experiences without us even realizing it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, imagine if developing and deploying AI becomes significantly cheaper and more accessible.
Right, because of Deepseek?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not just about tech companies competing with each other.
Right.
It's about how AI will fundamentally reshape our daily lives.
It's like the possibilities become limitless.
They do.
When you remove those barriers.
Exactly. That's the potential upside.
But of course, with any new technology, there's downsides.
There are always downsides.
What about jobs?
Yeah, that's a big one. What happens when AI can do our jobs?
Right. If AI becomes more sophisticated, more capable, will it lead to widespread unemployment?
Because we're already seeing it.
We are.
Like in manufacturing.
Yeah, customer service.
Things like that.
It's a question that economists and policymakers are grappling with right now.
Yeah, what happens when AI can do even more?
Right.
Like more complex jobs.
Well, some experts believe that AI will ultimately create more jobs than it destroys.
Okay.
But those jobs will likely require different skills and training.
So it's not just about teaching people how to code anymore.
Not anymore.
It's about
fostering adaptability, creativity, critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Those are the skills that will be in high demand in a world where AI can handle many of the routine tasks.
Okay, so we need to be thinking about how to prepare for this AI-powered future.
Absolutely we do.
And then there's bias.
Oh, yeah.
AI bias.
Huge concern.
Because AI algorithms are created by humans.
Right.
And humans are biased.
Yeah, that's right. So if we're not careful, AI could simply perpetuate and amplify existing societal biases.
Yeah, and that could lead to some really unfair outcomes.
It could.
So it's not enough to just develop technically impressive AI systems.
No, it's not.
We need to make sure that they are ethical and fair.
We do.
And that they benefit society as a whole.
Couldn't agree more. And that's where the open source aspect of Deepseek becomes so interesting.
Okay, so you're saying open sourcing could actually help mitigate bias?
Some people argue that yes. I mean, well, think about it this way. With open source, more people are able to scrutinize the code, identify potential biases, and propose solutions.
Okay.
It's like having a global team of auditors working to ensure that AI is developed responsibly.
So more transparency.
Exactly. More transparency, more accountability.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the markets.
Okay.
NVIDIA took a major hit.
They did.
But was it just them?
Oh, no, it wasn't just NVIDIA.
Were there other casualties?
Almost every major player in the AI space saw their stock prices take a dip.
Really?
Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet.
Wow.
Even smaller AI-focused companies, they all felt the tremor.
So Deepseek sent a ripple effect.
A ripple effect.
Throughout the entire tech industry.
It was a classic case of disruption.
Disruption.
When a new player emerges with a potentially game-changing technology, the incumbents get nervous.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Investors start to question the long-term viability of existing business models.
Right.
And that uncertainty leads to market volatility.
So was this just a temporary thing?
It's hard to say.
Or are we witnessing a fundamental shift?
Right. Is it a blip or is it a sea change?
Yeah.
It's still too early to say for sure.
Okay.
The market can be fickle and things could stabilize as Deepseek's technology is further scrutinized and its limitations become clearer.
But what if it's not just a blip?
Right. What if they really do deliver on their promises
and
fundamentally change the economics of AI?
What happens then?
That's when things get really interesting.
Okay.
It could trigger a wave of consolidation.
Okay.
With big companies scrambling to acquire promising startups.
Right.
Or even trying to replicate Deepseek's approach internally.
So we could see a complete reshaping of the industry.
We could.
With new players coming in and challenging the old guard.
Exactly. And the implications go far beyond just the tech companies themselves.
What do you mean?
This could have a major impact on global economics.
Wow, okay.
With countries vying for leadership in the AI space.
So the stakes are really high.
The stakes are incredibly high, and the outcome is far from certain.
It's like Deepseek is a Rorschach test.
It is a Rorschach test.
For the future of AI.
Everyone is projecting their hopes and fears onto this company.
Yeah.
Seeing it as either a potential savior or a harbinger of doom.
But the truth is probably somewhere in between.
Probably.
Like with most new technologies.
Right.
There's good and bad.
Absolutely. AI has the potential for both great good and great harm.
So it really all comes down to how we use it.
It does. It all comes down to how we choose to develop use and regulate it.
And that's why this whole open source thing is so fascinating.
It is.
It's like a grand experiment in transparency.
It is.
And collaboration.
A radical experiment.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Before we wrap up, what's the one thing
you
want our listener to take away from all this?
I think the most important thing to remember is that Deepseek is more than just a company or a technology.
Okay.
It's a symbol of the profound changes that are happening in the world of AI.
Okay.
And the potential impact those changes will have on all of us.
So it's not just about the algorithms or the hardware.
It's not.
It's about how we navigate this new era.
It's about how we choose to navigate this new era of AI and shape it for the better. We all have a role to play in this conversation.
It's not just a technical issue anymore.
It's a
societal issue.
It is. And the choices we make today will determine the kind of future we create with AI.
It feels like we're at a crossroads with all of this.
A real turning point.
Deepseek has thrown down the gauntlet.
They really have.
And the world's trying to figure out
how to respond.
Exactly. And it's not just about deciding if their technology is good or bad.
It's bigger than that.
It's about having a much broader conversation.
Yes.
About what role we want AI to play.
Exactly.
In our lives.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
Or the fear.
Right.
But we need to step back.
Okay.
And ask ourselves some fundamental questions.
Look,
what are our values?
Our values.
What are our priorities?
Okay.
And how do we ensure that AI development aligns with those values?
Those are big questions.
They are.
And I don't think Silicon Valley has all the answers.
No, they don't.
We need to bring in more voices.
We do. We need a diverse range of voices and perspectives to shape the future of AI.
Ethicists, policymakers, social scientists, artists, philosophers.
Everyone needs to have a seat at the table.
It's a human issue now.
It is. It's not just a tech issue anymore.
And the choices we make now are going to have huge consequences.
Profound consequences for generations to come.
So where do we even start?
Well, I think the first step
Okay.
is to move beyond those simplistic narratives.
Okay.
The ones that dominate the public discourse.
Right.
We need to stop thinking about AI as either a utopian solution or a dystopian nightmare.
So it's not good versus evil.
It's not.
It's about recognizing that AI is a tool.
Exactly.
And like any tool.
It can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
The real question is, what kind of future do we want to build with this tool?
What kind of future?
And how do we ensure that AI is used to enhance human well-being?
Right.
Not diminish it.
We need to be thinking about fairness.
Yes.
Transparency, accountability.
Absolutely.
How do we make sure that AI benefits everyone?
Right.
Not just a select few?
Those are the hard questions.
They are hard questions, but we got to ask them.
We can't just leave it up to tech companies to figure this out on their own.
Right. It's too important.
It's too important. So what can the average person do?
Yeah, what can we do?
To make a difference in this conversation?
Besides, listen to this podcast.
We'll stay informed for one.
Okay.
Educate yourself about AI and its potential impacts. Engage in discussions.
Okay.
Share your thoughts and concerns with your friends, family, and elected officials.
Okay.
Support organizations that are working to promote responsible AI development.
So many things we can do.
It's not just about technical expertise.
Right.
Everyone has a perspective to offer a story to tell.
AI is going to touch every part of our lives.
It is, so it's essential that we all have a say in shaping its future.
Deepseek's open source move has really shaken things up.
It has.
So what are your predictions for this coming year?
What should we be watching for?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of experimentation and innovation now that DeepSeek has opened the door. Other companies and research groups might be more inclined to explore open source approaches.
So more collaboration.
Yeah, a more collaborative, decentralized approach to AI development.
Yeah.
And I think we'll also see a growing awareness of the ethical and societal implications of AI.
Yeah, it's not just a technical field.
It's not. It's a human one. It's a field that demands thoughtful consideration of human values.
Well, this has been a real eye-opener for me.
It has been fascinating.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
But also a little apprehensive.
I agree. It's a fascinating time to be alive.
It really is.
And the next few years are going to be pivotal in determining the trajectory of AI and its impact on humanity.
Well, on that note, I think we should wrap things up.
I think so, too.
And let our listener ponder the possibilities.
Indeed, the future of AI is being written right now.
It is.
And we all have a role to play in shaping the story.